guys, welcome back to the refit of Puffin. Things may seem a little shaky today. That's because we got gale force winds and we're still on the stand, so a little bit of rocking back and forth, but that's fine. So let's talk about interior woodwork. So this boat had been ridden hard and put away wet, and there's quite a bit of damage to the wood on the inside. Back here at the companionway, I'll show you we've got some delamination of the veneer, and then down on the side pieces we've got some areas in the galley where we have some water damage to the bottom of the plywood. So in trying to figure out how to bring this boat back to making it look pristine and in great shape, what I don't want to do is go through and redo all the plywood. That's really expensive and it would slow my launch, and I really would like to get this boat on the water. Maybe in the future we'll redo all of the plywood, but right now, being that this is more of a budget rebuild, I'm going to do something a little bit different. So what we're first going to do is sand down all of the areas that need it, put wood filler in the areas that need it. I'm going to use an exterior rated wood filler, and then we'll get all that sanded down and smooth. And then what I'm going to do is the plywood portions, I'm actually going to paint it. And I actually saw on one of the online Facebook forums, one of the pages for this specific boat, Tanzer 25 and 29, someone did a really nice job of adding some paint to the back of the companionway stairs that had worn out, and I thought it looked pretty good, so I'm going to choose a paint color and I'm going to get it on this wood. I'm going to leave as much of the trim teak as possible, so only going to be painting the damaged areas, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it looks really good and gives it kind of an updated fresh look. So let's get to it. Let's get some sanding done, and we'll get some wood filler in there, let that cure up, sand it all down again, we'll prime, we'll paint. And then I've got a piece of trim that I'm going to put at the bottom over here in the galley area, and hopefully we get this nice and clean and a really good look. So let's get to it. There's a lot of damage, so it's all bleached out. A lot of this is just flaking off, and you know, I'm gonna fill it. I'll pull this piece off, but what I don't want to do is take all of this stuff off. What I'm gonna do is, where I can, I'm gonna put a little bit of wood glue underneath this and get it pushed down, get it adhered to it, sand it down, and then I'm gonna go over it with wood filler. I'll fill all this in, let it dry, cure up. Anything that's loose, again, we're gonna glue. And then once I get all that wood filler in there and sand it down, then I'll be ready to prime it. So I want to fill in these, get it sanded down nice and smooth so that I can get a good layer of paint. The starboard side is actually not too bad. It's a shame that this side is so bad, because I'd love to just refinish it with some teak oil, but that veneer is just too far gone, even though this side is nice. So we're going to match them up. The back side here on the companionway stairs is actually pretty good, so we're probably just going to sand that down and do teak oil. Teak oil on the stairs, I'll put some grip on it, but yeah, well, let's keep going. All right, so we got it all masked off. I'm going to apply the wood filler. I like to use a solvent-based wood filler, nothing fancy, but solvent-based instead of water-based. It's a little bit more durable. The actually fun thing about these cans is they store them upside down on purpose, so the solvent's at the bottom, so when you open it up, it's not dried out. So, kind of cool. All right, let's put some on there. Take a look how it looks. All right, so I know right now it looks kind of ugly, and it doesn't look like it's gonna do the job, but trust me, it's going to. Here's a couple spots where we've sanded off already. It'll fill these voids. We might have to hit it a couple times, but this will work, and then we'll prime it up and we'll paint it. So I was hoping to restore this sheet of plywood back, but you can see it's just too thin, and it was wearing through because we got a little bit of damage on there. So this is going to go ahead and go white. I'm going to leave it with drawer and door faces teak. I'll probably end up matching here and there the same thing. And then we got another coat after the other one cured and was sanded down. There's some more voids, so we just filled everything in. We'll get that all sanded down, primed, and then we should be ready for paint. All right, so we are ready to apply some paint. So I've got everything masked off. And whenever you're doing painting, the biggest thing I can say is take your time with the prep work. The paint job is only going to turn out as good as your prep work. So let's get some primer on this one. We're going to get a couple coats on that, get a couple coats on this side piece. I had to do a couple more little touch-ups here. Again, prep work is important. I just want to make sure that everything is filled and looks good, and we'll get one final sanding on that, and then I think we'll be ready for primer there too. Let's get to it. This is kind of what it's gonna basically look like. Going out the sides here. I went ahead and took the trim off because it was a little bit easier than trying to tape and mask around it, and then I can take these and really get them down to the bare wood when I want to refinish those so that they'll really pop. So everything through the middle is going to be teak, and everything on the outsides is going to be the white. And then with the cabinet faces, I'm going to keep the doors teak, drawer faces teak, everything else is going to be white except for trim. Then at the bottom, I've actually got a piece of wood that I'm going to put along this entire run to hide that bottom portion and trim it out. So that'll be one of the last things I do. So let's get some paint on it. I did about 3 coats of primer. I like to overdo it with the primer. It's going to seal in, really seal the wood, and then put that paint on top of it. And if you prime it properly, the paint's really going to pop. All right, here's the finished result. Just got to clean up the faces a little bit. That all looks pretty good. I got my white on here. That looks good. I'm going to peel that paint off. And then I went ahead and got the trim pieces sanded down, handles sanded down, and got 3 coats of teak oil on there. I'm going to let that set for a couple days, and then I'll add a little bit more, and then we'll reinstall everything. So we're all done with it. It's not exactly what I would have wanted. I would have much rather had kept it more original and kept that teak and refinished that, but I'm not going to go through the cost of replacing all of that plywood and doing all that cabinetry work. I could do it, but it would set me back a ton of time and a little bit of money that I don't want to spend. But I'm happy with the result, and that really is one of the last things that I needed to do on the interior that made it easy to do while it was here at the yard. I hope that the next video, the next episode you see, is Puffin going in the water and a delivery. So let's keep our fingers crossed that that will be coming down the pipeline. See you guys on the next one.